What's up, guys? It's Austin from Yu-Gi-Oh! Theory. I'm here today with my Super Heavy Samurai deck profile. I've done a lot since my last video on my Super Heavy Samurais. I've added some things to the extra deck, and my deck is pretty much complete, except for I don't have the Synchros, like the new one for the Super Heavies, the one that's like level 8. Well, it's not really new anymore, but it was at the time. It's like a level 8. Excuse me. It's not that good anyway, so if you don't have it either, you don't really need it. I mean, it's mediocre at best. But anyway, let's get into the deck profile. First, you run 3 Super Heavy Samurai Big Binky. Big Binky, what he does is, when you use normal special summon, you switch him to defense, and all Super Heavy Samurai monsters attack with their defense when he's on the field. Now, how that works is, he'll be in defense, and he uses his defense for attack, so it's almost like he has 3,500 attack instead of 3,500 defense, and then he can attack in defense position. So that's really good, because if your opponent attacks him with more life, more attack, then you don't take any damage from that battle because he's in defense. Next, you run 3 Super Heavy Samurai Battle Ball. Battle Ball is really good. What it does, if you don't have any trapper spell cards in your graveyard, you target a monster that your opponent controls, you tribute this card and the monster you targeted. So just summon a Super Heavy Samurai from your extra deck, and it's counted as a synchro summon. So that's really good for getting around like bigger monsters that can't be destroyed but can be targeted, because this does target. That's the only bad thing about it. But it's really good for getting out some of your synchros though. And if you only have one card in your like one tuner that you can normal summon, and that's him. Next, you run 3 Super Heavy Samurai Trumpeter. I like Trumpeter a lot better than Battle Ball, just because you can special summon Trumpeter out of your hand, and whenever he's used for the tribute summon of a Super Heavy Samurai monster, you can special summon him out of your graveyard. Next, you run 3 Super Heavy Samurai Flutist. This card is really good for like speeding up your deck and stuff like that. What you do is you can tribute him and then special summon a Super Heavy Samurai monster from your hand, preferably one of your bigger ones. And whenever he's in the graveyard, if there's a card effect that targets the Super Heavy Samurai monster, you can banish this card from your graveyard, negate the effect, and it destroys the card that the effect was activated from. Next, you run 3 Super Heavy Samurai Soul Peacemaker. Soul Peacemaker does the same thing, sort of as Flutist, but in a different way. What you do is you equip this to one of your Super Heavy Samurai monsters, you tribute both of them, and then you special summon a Super Heavy Samurai monster from your deck. This is really good if you're trying to, say, get some of your like synchroing plays together. Say you already have a level 2 and then like some like level 4 or something. You can go ahead and synchro for the level 6 if you wanted to, but you can just equip this to the level 4, then send both of them to the graveyard and special summon level 8, and then go for your level 10 synchro, which is usually one of the better plays, I'd say. Sometimes you'd rather go for other stuff, but it just helps out a lot. Next, you run 2 Super Heavy Samurai Jade. What he does is he attacks the defense too, but he only has 2,800 defense, so it's a lot less than Binkai. What his scale effect is once per turn you can target a Super Heavy Samurai monster, you lower his level by 1. I don't use his effect very much because I don't really pendulum summon much in this deck. I mostly use Coral's pendulum scale effect more than his. Next, you run 2 Super Heavy Samurai Blue Barrel. Blue Barrel is really good. Whenever he's normal summon, you can go ahead and switch him to defense, and he also cannot be destroyed by battle. So he's a really good wall to sit on. If that's all you draw is him, you just set him. Or you can normal summon him face up and then switch him to defense if you want. But you'd rather it be more of a surprise, so they just go ahead and attack into it and then don't waste their Dark Hole or something on it, because they can Dark Hole it. Next, you run 2 Super Heavy Samurai Magnet. Magnet's really good for getting off some of your synchros too. Whenever this card is normal summon, you can special summon a level 4 lower Super Heavy Samurai monster from your hand, and then you switch this to defense. And this is also the only card your opponent can attack. Next, you run 2 Super Heavy Samurai Scales. Scales is really good if your opponent controls. If your opponent controls 2 monsters and you control none, you can special summon this from your hand, and then this card is normal or special summon. You can target 1 level 4 or lower Super Heavy Samurai monster from your graveyard and special summon it. That's really good for synchro plays, like you normal summon him and then normal summon like your level 1 tuner or your level 2 tuner. Then you can go for the level 6, or you can go for level 5. Next, you run 2 Super Heavy Samurai Giga Glove. Giga Glove is really good. What you do is like set this and then let it go to the graveyard. Or you can use it for a synchro and let it go to the graveyard. Then you look at the top 5 cards of your deck and then put them in any order. Also, if this is in your graveyard and you get attacked directly, you can banish it, draw a card. If the card you draw is a Super Heavy Samurai monster, you negate the... Wait, do you negate it or you just not take any damage? Yes, the attack becomes 0 and then you add that card to your hand. It's really good. Next, you run 2 Super Heavy Samurai Coral. His monster effect is you can tribute a Super Heavy Samurai monster up to 2 and then draw a card for it. And his skill effect is you can target a Super Heavy Samurai monster and that monster can make a second attack on monsters. That's really good for pushing for game. Next, you run 2 Super Heavy Samurai Transporter. This is really good for sometimes for special summoning out of your hand, or I mean, if not special summoning out of your hand, but getting some of your bigger monsters out of the hand because you don't have to waste your normal. So he can special summon out of your hand. He has an effect where whenever you can special summon one of your monsters, your Super Heavies, on your opponent's side of the field, and then you draw a card for it. I think you can special summon up to 2 and then draw 2 cards. So he's really good for getting your hand loaded if you have a bunch of stuff in your hand that you can't really use, and it's just like easier just to drop it on their side of the field. Next, you run 2 Super Heavy Samurai Drum. I'm thinking about bumping this up to 3 and then taking one of the flutists. Yeah, taking out one of the flutists. Because Drum is really good. Whenever it's destroyed, you special summon a Super Heavy Samurai monster from your graveyard. So say this is kind of late game. You set this, they attack into it, you flip it up, it goes to the graveyard, then you special summon a Bankai, which is really good because it's just a nice wall to sit on. Next, you run 2 Super Heavy Samurai Soulfire Suits. If your Super Heavy Samurai monster would be destroyed, you can discard this and wait. Yeah, it can't be destroyed. That's what it is. You discard this and it can't be destroyed by battle, but it loses 800 defense, which isn't a very big cost for it. Then you run 2 Super Heavy Samurai Soul Beads. What this does, it makes it where it can't be destroyed by card effects once that turn, and you can also discard it to protect it from a card effect. Next, you run 2 Super Heavy Samurai Soul Burst Gauntlet. This is mostly what you use it for is if you're about to attack or your Super Heavy Samurai is going to be attacked. You can discard this and you double its defense, but at the end of the turn, its defense becomes 0. Then you run 2 Super Heavy Samurai Soul Piercer. You equip this to a Super Heavy Samurai monster, and it does piercing damage to defense position monsters. Then you run 1 Super Heavy Samurai Soul Claw. I'm thinking about maybe running 2 of these, but it makes it where a Super Heavy Samurai monster can't be destroyed by battle that once per turn. That's it for the main deck. Now for the extra deck. First off, you run 3 Super Heavy Samurai Warlord Suzunoa. Yeah, Suzunoa. What he does is, once per turn during either player's turn, you can steal a Trapper spell card that your opponent has in his. It can steal a Trapper spell card out of your opponent's graveyard. So say they just Regeki to you or like Solemn Strike to you or some junk like that, you can just steal it and then use it on them. And also, he attacks with his defense too, and he's a 3,800 defense, so that's a pretty big beater. Next, you run 3 Super Heavy Samurai Beast QB. What he does is he can also attack with his defense, and he gains 900 defense for every special summon monster your opponent controls. I think you can get him up to, I think it's 5,000, if I'm not mistaken. I might be, because I can't really do the math that fast, but I think it's like 5,000 if they control 5 special summon monsters. And he is he's really big help, to be honest. Next, you run 3 Super Heavy Samurai Ogre Shuto Doji. These Japanese names always get me. Anyway, he attacks in defense too, and whenever you synchro summon, you destroy all your opponent's spell and trap cards, which is really good against Paleozoics and other trap and spell heavy decks. Pretty much anything, to be honest. Everything uses a good bit of spells and traps, and you just destroy all of them, including their scales, which is really nice. And then next, you run 1 Neutraria Barkion. You can negate a trap card by banishing 2 cards from your graveyard. It's pretty good. I usually go for Neutraria Beast more, but it's still good. Speaking of, you run 1 Neutraria Beast. Neuteria Beast is better than Barkion because it negates spell cards, which are usually more frequent, and also it doesn't banish from your graveyard. You just mill from the top of your deck, and it's not once per turn. Neither one of these are once per turn, so you can keep negating effects, and it really doesn't bother the super heavies to be in the graveyard. It does for some of them, but a lot of them actually have graveyard effects, so it doesn't bother them too much. And this actually goes really good in the deck. I recommend everyone using a Neuteria Beast in this deck, and you can get it out fairly easily. You can get out the Barkion easier, and the Neuteria Beast, you can get it out pretty easy, but not as easy. But that's it for the extra deck. So yeah. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching the video. We really appreciate it. If you enjoy videos like this, please like and subscribe. We make deck profiles. That's my dog. We make deck profiles, pack openings, and duels. So please like and subscribe if you enjoy any of those things. We'd really appreciate it. And peace.